During the Second World War, there were many technological advancements here in Canada.
One large advancement for the Allies was radar. Over the long 6 years in World War II, radars were supplied to the Allies from Canada for ships to track U-boats as well as other vessels, and also for air defense. In 1939, Britain left it to Canada to create the radar, and with the help of 6,000 Canadian men and women, in just 7 days, the first radar was made. At the end of the war, all the Allies agreed that if it weren't for radars, the war would have been lost.
During the war, soldiers would endure lots of traveling, whether by plane, boat, or road, and conditions were not always the best. Also, despite many beliefs, soldiers were not always rock hard, and the rough tides created some queasy stomachs. Although it wasn't the largest problem in the war, Canadian doctors went to work and created multiple drugs helping with motion sickness. One other Canadian improvement for travel was the anti-G suit. This improved pilots' comfort in the air by allowing more movement and adding more protection from the cold. But probably Canada's greatest medical development during the war was the mass production of stable penicillin. The drug was invented previously to the war, but it was difficult to produce large amounts of stable product. That was until the Canadian scientists helped to solve this issue by making it easy to manufacture effective doses which would eventually save many soldiers' lives.
Just before the war in 1938, the Canadians created anti-fog windshield fluid for the war that they knew was coming. With the cold climate and heavy-breathing soldiers crammed in small jeeps, fog would be a major issue that made traveling next to impossible. Along with the creation of anti-fog fluid, Canada also contributed to the creation of synthetic rubber. The rubber was used for tires and army rafts. Artificial fur was another game-changer in the sub-30-degree weather of the World War II winters. It served as jackets to keep the soldiers warm in battle and blankets for when they got to rest. One of the Canadian creations that are still used today by very many countries are nylon parachutes. These parachutes are so highly cherished today because it is a very cheap, durable, and wind-resistant synthetic fabric.
Much like World War I, with tough bread and meat, good food was hard to get to the front lines. But as World War I exhibited, soldiers needed more than just stale, teeth-breaking food. So Canadian scientists began to help with this wartime issue. To solve this problem, they created powdered food, or protein, like eggs, milk, and bacon. For meal preparation, it was as easy as just adding water, and then, if necessary, cooking with a heat source. Although it was not the most glamorous or tasty food, it got the job done and physically prepared soldiers for the tough test ahead.
Elsie McGill, also known as the Queen of Hurricanes, was the first woman to ever earn a degree in aeronautical engineering. During her years in the Air Force as head of aeronautical engineers, she made significant game-changing improvements in the Canadian Air Force. A cool fact about Elsie is that she first attended the University of BC, but her dean kicked her out. She then attended U of T and earned her bachelor in electrical engineering. And despite her last name being McGill, she had no relations with McGill University.
Elsie McGill was not only the head aeronautical engineer for the military, but also designed the Hawker Hurricane. This plane was a common choice for the Allies as they were mass-produced, allowing damaged aircrafts to be repaired easily. Say a plane returns with a damaged wing. Instead of trying to recreate a perfect piece to replace it, they were able to quickly obtain a matching part and fix it in no time. Elsie's design won her multiple medals, including the American Woman Engineer of the Year, and rightfully so, as it gave Allied forces a fighting chance in the air against Germany.
As can be seen during the Second World War, not only did Canada help on the battlefield, but also develop many key inventions, which contributed to the victory of World War II.